Good evening, everyone. It's Thursday, September 1st, 2016. I'm Mural Kethwari.
And I'm Alexandria Garcia. Welcome to the Local Live.
A heat wave is blamed for the massive oyster and fish kill in Mamaroneck Harbor.
The newly expanded and renovated Marine Education Center reopens and welcomes our community.
And once again, parking in the village of Mamaroneck makes our headlines.
And now you can fly to Miami from Westchester County Airport. Find out more about this in our segment In the Media.
This week, Fez Turkish Mez is in the spotlight.
How can music help students with special needs and those economically unserved in communities? Joseph Lento, who was proclaimed as national teacher by President Barack Obama, will talk to us live in studio tonight.
Tell us what you think. In person, over the phone, online. Watch and hear yourself on TV. You tell us, we air it. This is the Local Live.
This summer's hot temperatures and heat waves might be the reason for a massive fish kill in Mamaroneck Harbor. On Tuesday, the remains of dead oysters and other seafood washed up on a public beach at Harbor Island Park. Wendy A. Rosenbach, a regional spokeswoman with the State Department of Environmental Conservation in New Paltz, New York, told the Mamaroneck Daily Voice the DEC was recently made aware of a fish kill in Mamaroneck Harbor. The exact cause or extent of the fish kill is unknown, but fish kills tend to occur in warmer months when the water's capacity for dissolved oxygen is reduced and fish metabolic rates increase.
The Marine Education Center, located at Harbor Island Park, reopened on August 20th thanks to a joint effort with the Village of Mamaroneck and the Mamaroneck Education Center Committee. The new upgrades include expanding the location, now double the size, and new equipment and displays like the touch tank that all ages can enjoy. The chair of the Marine Education Center Committee, Peter Linderoff, spoke to LMC TV and explained the purpose of the newly renovated Marine Education Center.
Today we're definitely focused on the Marine Education Center, which is going to be an educational center, really a community meeting place for people in the village and other people that want to come learn about Long Island Sound. We have lots of great things happening. This is really a reopening of the Marine Education Center. This center's been around for about 3 years, but we've doubled the space. We'll have to take a walk later and look inside, but we've doubled the space and added a lot of new components to the center to kind of enhance the educational offerings. One of which is right here. This is our Marine Touch Tank, which we'll be keeping live Long Island Sound animals in for kids and adults, anyone that's interested to come and kind of get some FaceTime with, learn how to handle the animals, learn a little bit about their anatomy, adaptations, habitats that they live in, how they fit into the role of Long Island Sound and its ecology. Inside we have larger tanks where we'll be keeping more fish and other animals that aren't really touch friendly. And the largest of the tanks is actually pretty large. We might even be able to get some small dogfish or sharks in there. And those tanks will be set up habitat specific so people can see the animals that are in Long Island Sound. And we're definitely having a local focus here. So all the animals that we have in the touch tank and the tanks inside will be collected here in Mamaroneck at the harbor or at the beach.
The center will now be open from Wednesday to Sunday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and will continue to welcome visitors until Halloween.
Listen up, Washingtonville residents. We have an update regarding the parking in your area. Currently, non-residents can park for 4 hours without the need of a permit from 6 p.m. to 8 a.m., including weekends and holidays. But after the updated proposed Local Law V passed this Monday, non-residents will only be allowed to park for 2 hours. The reason for changing parking hours is to allow more parking spots for residents who have several times voiced their complaints to the Board of Trustees. Residents with a permit can park at all times in the area. The new update on the law has been sent to the New York Secretary of State and will become effective on the date it is filed.
In other parking news, the Village of Mamaroneck has issued a notice that parking meter rates and enforcement hours have increased from Mamaroneck Avenue, but not for the other village lots or streets. The new rate is now 25 cents per 15 minutes, and meters will be enforced from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m., Monday through Saturdays, not including holidays. Parking meter enforcement will resume Tuesday, September 6th, the day after Labor Day. Here's Peter Malavenda with what's trending in the media.
Well, summer is almost over, but if you're looking ahead to your winter escape, check this out. Starting in December, American Airlines will offer non-stop flights from Westchester County Airport to Miami International. The catch? American Airlines is cutting 2 flights daily to Philly. Check out LOHA.com to find out when you can book your flight to the Sunshine State. And as the Sunshine State continues to battle the Zika virus, local health officials have announced that 19 people in Westchester County have contracted the virus. The Mamaroneck Daily Voice reports that 8 of them are pregnant. Due to health privacy laws, officials are unable to announce the exact location of the victims. And also on the Daily Voice, Larchmont residents may finally have an edge in their fight to save their beloved Playhouse. As of last week, the theater officially received 501c status to operate as a not-for-profit. Local residents are still in need of nearly $100,000 to keep the theater alive. And in a Sunday evening scare, a 10-year-old girl was knocked unconscious by a flying golf ball at the Bonnie Briar Country Club in Larchmont. She was transported to Jacobi Medical Center in the Bronx. Check back to the Daily Voice for updates on her condition. And school is officially back in session. Is your child's vaccine record up to date? New York State just released the latest required immunizations for kids in Mamaroneck and Larchmont schools. Check out thepatch.com for the full breakdown. And one more thing, the ghosts of Hollywood are all around us. Famous director D.W. Griffith, that iconic house in Please Don't Eat the Daisies, all can be found right here in the Mamaroneck-Larchmont area. Check out The Loop for the incredible video. And that's what's new in the media this week. I'm Peter Malavenda.
Up next, we have our local trivia question. And stay tuned for tonight's roundtable with our guest, Joseph Lento, who was proclaimed a national teacher by President Barack Obama for his work. Stay tuned.
Hi everybody, Joseph S. Lento is in studio with us today to discuss his several achievements in both musical and academic outreach. In 2014, Lento was recognized by President Obama himself as a National Teacher of Humanities and Arts. Thank you so much for being here with us, Joseph.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very, very much for having me.
Yeah, of course. So I have to ask, also, we did not plan our outfits, people, if that's what you're thinking. We just got lucky. So, how did your career in music begin? Although I imagine with the last name like Lento was more set up for you.
Obviously, it was set up. I had no idea, though, when I was young, what my name meant. And it's a musical expression for playing slowly. Mm-hmm. But from the time I was a little boy, approximately 5 years old, I had seen Louis Armstrong on TV, and I just wanted to be a trumpet player. And my living room is basically a shrine to Satchmo. And it wasn't until I was 12 years old, 6th grade, that I got an opportunity to play in the school band, and it just changed my life forever.
Mm-hmm. And the school provided everything for you, instruments?
I went to a wonderful school at a time when arts were really fully supported in New York City. And yes, they provided the trumpet, they provided the great teachers that we had, and
that's awesome. So that sort of inspired you to pass it on, pass it forward?
Oh, absolutely. We were pretty poor growing up, and music opened a lot of doors for me. And the kindness that the teachers showed me, and the power that the music had on me that transformed my life, I realized I had an obligation to give that back. And so I wanted to become a teacher.
And so you are currently a teacher at Roosevelt High School.
Yes, I'm the music director at Roosevelt High School in Yonkers, and I love all my students.
And was there ever a particular moment, whether that be as a teacher or a student, that you realized that it hit you how powerful music is in terms of, building confidence or just helping you find out who exactly you are? Well,
I think that as in any learning process, we go through it and we reap the benefits of what we're learning, but it's not until later on that we have the experience to actually articulate it. I realized what music was doing for me from an early age, but it wasn't until I began studying education and actually teaching that I really understood what an impact it had and can have on young people. I know what it did for me.
Kind of like your parents.
Yes.
You're like, whatever, and then you have kids and you're like, oh man, I should have been better. Like that?
No, not really. It was a matter of I talk about learning as planting seeds, and you don't always see the flowers growing until later on. You come back and you water it and all that, and then all of a sudden there's a flower, and you realize it afterward. You get to see the results of the work you're doing. So you benefit from it, but it takes a little time to articulate it, where you're able to give it back to other people to fully understand it yourself.
Okay, interesting. And can you tell us about Maestro Music Unlimited, a little bit about that?
Yeah, that's actually just it's a website I put up where I discuss teaching techniques and a method book that I'm in the process of writing, and also talks about some inventions I've had patented for helping students play woodwind instruments better.
Well, yeah, that's what was interesting about it to me when I was surfing the web. I have, like I was saying before, I'm so musically challenged, and I love music, and I would love to be able to play music. So I was looking at all these things that are supposed to alleviate a bit the stress of learning how to play a wind instrument. It's really interesting.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, it really is. And what about the Joey James Band?
Yeah.
Because you're not just a teacher.
Well, no, I'm a conservatory-trained musician who plays all styles of music, and I've been playing professionally since I'm 16 years old, when I was in my first band. We weren't very good at the time, but we began getting local performances and so on, and I've had the pleasure of playing for governors and senators and mayors and retired generals like Colin Powell over the years, so it's been very rewarding on that end as well. I mean, I've been fortunate to do everything in terms of my love of music, both as a performing artist and as an educator, which is what I love most.
Yeah, I mean, you played with the Philharmonic before you were even 20.
Yeah, I was 18 years old. I had been selected to the New York City All-City High School Orchestra. At the time, it was the most prestigious orchestra for students, high school students in the nation. And I auditioned for it. I was fortunate enough to get one of the 3 slots, and we were taught side by side with the members of the New York Philharmonic, and we actually did a joint concert at Lincoln Center in May of 1980, so it was great.
Yeah, sounds amazing. And tell us a little bit about this letter you received from Obama.
You know, I've been thinking about writing presidents for years, and I never did.
Likewise.
Yeah, all of us. And I was so struck by my students' performance and achievement in 2014 at Roosevelt High School. You know, generally, they were a group of students who had no particular interest in playing instruments. They didn't know. It was supposed to be a general music course. But I transformed the whole program and made it all instrumental music, which is something I was doing even when I was in New York City. They loved it. And they became so immersed in what was going on. And I saw the transformation of these young people who, you know, were maybe uncooperative in some ways, but began working together. I was so taken with it that I wrote the president. And I sent them a research paper I did. I sent them a video of my students and a letter. And lo and behold, he answered me. And, you know, if it weren't for the kids that I have the privilege of teaching, I never would have gotten that letter. So it was a great, great honor for me.
Yeah, that's amazing, because it goes beyond learning music and knowing the notes and how to hold the instrument. It's so much more than that for you, and that's so apparent, and it's apparent in your students.
Yes, Rebecca, thank you. I don't teach music so children can become good musicians. I teach them music so they can become better learners, better socially conscious, and that's what music does to a person. It just rounds them out. Even if you don't get to a level of proficiency where you can be a professional, that's not the point. It's to inherit all of the qualities music gives people, and all of us are affected by it. If you play an instrument,
right,
everyone benefits.
It's so all-encompassing.
Yeah.
That's so true. And I wanted to talk a little bit more about this experiment that you did with the students and your findings. So could you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. It was back in 1998. I was going for my master's in school supervision and administration. And one of the things we had to do was take a research course. So I wanted to make it relevant, practical. And so I did a study on how music affects students academically, socially within the community.
Yeah.
And it was locally published in a couple of papers, and Channel 12 in the Bronx covered it. And what we found out was with over 100 students were involved. And students either had no musical experience or they had a minimum of 2 years in my program. And the results are astounding. The difference is...
This number is shocking to me, that children who play music miss about 5.8 days of school, whereas children who do not miss about 16.2.
It's mind-boggling. It's amazing.
Right.
If the kids are there, they're going to learn. And they need a reason to be there.
To be there, yeah, totally.
And the vast majority of these young people did not become musicians, but they became better learners. And they were more, even if you look into the part where they're involved in the community, they're doing community service. They're involved with their neighbors. They become socially aware. It's just such a powerful force.
Right, because they're being empowered and then they want to share that, which is so important, to feel like you have something to contribute as a young person.
Oh yes, you know, when you're playing an instrument, the power that you get from it to shape people's lives and to know that people are listening and you're affecting their behavior, you know, their mood, and you're making them happy, it's very powerful.
Yeah, definitely.
Very
You're moving
powerful.
somebody.
Sure.
Yeah. And I wanted to share this quote from Mr. Lento that I read that I loved, and it's about performing and being the center of attention. And he said it's not about being the center of attention, but rather serving as the connection between the music and the people that makes your performance center on the guests and the people listening. And I just love that idea, that it's really a gift for someone that you're giving almost selflessly, even though you feel like, here I am on stage doing this for you, but it's not. You're like,
yeah, no,
you're just giving it away.
It's for a person, believe it or not, I don't really like attention, and I've spent my whole life in careers that you get a lot of attention, but it's not about that for me. And I tell that to my students. When you are given a gift, you learn a gift, your obligation is to give it back to people. So when I'm performing professionally, it's not about me playing the trumpet. It's about what I'm doing to make that gift people happy with music. So it's not about me. And I tell my students not to make it about them, but to make it about what they're doing for people.
And, oh, I actually have an email for us. What is your opinion when there's not enough budget for schools and the first thing they cut is arts and music?
Well, of course, I become very upset.
I thought you would.
I become very upset because this work I did is not new. It's been done for years and years and years. We've known about this. We know what music does. And the first thing that they cut is the very subjects that require, that actually promote the development of the full person. When someone learns how to play an instrument, they have to do so many things at one time. There's, you know, they have to use gross motor, fine motor skills, sensory, they have to decode things, they have to collaborate, they have to use their physical body to produce the sound, they have to work with other people, and they're cutting this, which makes no sense to me. And it's always the first things to go, and no matter how much research there is, this is what the communities do often, and it really, really bothers me.
I totally agree. It is a shame.
That was a great email. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that question. Yeah, I agree. It's definitely unfair, and I think a lot of subjects that are not seen as core could really stand to have a stronger spot in our schools.
Well, you know,
especially exactly after all the research that we've had done.
Yeah, and one of the things I actually don't like is when they call us non-core. You know, what's more core than math, science, physical education? It's all rolled into music.
And one of the oldest art forms ever.
Oh yes, you know, the ancient Greeks taught rhetoric, physical education, and music. I mean, there's three really important things to teach young people.
Absolutely. And do you have any hopes for what comes next, either Roosevelt High School or just in general? Anything you're working towards,
I'm
always look out for?
I'm always trying to improve my skills as a teacher. I'm trying to better understand my students all the time. I try to develop relationships with them so I can achieve more than what I'm achieving. The kids will always teach you. I learned so much from my students, especially when they don't understand something. I realize I'm not getting to them. And so they're always great to keep me in check and to have me always thinking about how I can better serve them.
That is really nice. I mean, that's what it's all about.
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, definitely. And sorry, go right
No,
ahead.
I also, one of the areas that really impacts, music impacts also, are our special needs kids. Back in 1980, I started off as a special education teacher of global studies and instrumental music, way back, 1984, 85. And with a woman named Mrs. Kelly, we put together the first performance group of special needs children in the history of New York City, back in 1986. And we had children with physical, emotional, and behavioral disabilities. And they were wonderful. And the music really helped them so much. And when I work with the children who were in our artistic program at Roosevelt High School, they bring such joy to the audience, to me, to themselves. And we don't use music enough to help students who are challenged, even children who are coming to the country whose English is not where they want it to be yet. It's amazing. They put them in my class, and there's only one language, music. And the kids do great. Their English improves, their behavior improves, their sense of value improves. It's just wonderful. We need to use music more to serve those communities. That's really what my present passion is, getting those underserved communities better served and bringing awareness to people about that.
That is a very noble cause. I mean, yeah, music is obviously amazing. People hear it in utero and babies react. It really is amazing.
Absolutely.
And what you've done is so great. Thank you so much for being here.
Pleasure's all mine. Thank you very
pleasure.
much to you and your fabulous audience. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys so much. It's been a pleasure to be here with Mr. Lento. For LMC TV, I'm Rebecca Paganini. Have a good night. Stay tuned for more community stories and, of course, the answer to our trivia question.
This week, Fez Turkish Mez is in the spotlight. I was there, and here's the story. If you've ever wanted to travel down to Turkey to try their delicious cuisine, well, now you can. At 409 Mount Pleasant Avenue in Mamaroneck, the Fez Turkish Mez has opened up, and it has a wide variety of Middle Eastern and Turkish cuisine. The Turkish restaurant has reopened under new ownership and is now a family business run by husband and wife, Ahud Bata and Khalid Das. I sat down with Khalid Das to learn more about what his restaurant has to offer.
My wife is the chef. She's in charge of the kitchen. She has her own recipes for some of the dishes, and I think she's doing well.
Having lived in Mamaroneck for over 4 years and being of Jordanian descent, Khalid Das spoke about him and his wife's love for Turkish and Middle Eastern cuisine.
My wife and I, we have passion for food, and Turkish food is very similar to our own food. Actually, they originate from the same origin.
When you step into the restaurant, you will get a glimpse of Turkish culture. From the traditional fez hats, arts, and books available for diners to read while they wait for the delicious food, you will be immersed in the Middle Eastern traditions. The menu offers a wide variety of dishes from baba ganoush, Lebanese to kefta that you will absolutely devour. Guys, the food looks delicious. It smells amazing. The tzatziki, the hummus, it's absolutely mouth-watering. I mean, it's to die for. I don't even know what to say, so I'm gonna enjoy the rest of it. I'm Maral Kethwari reporting for The Local Live.
You're watching The Local Live,
the only news show on Larchmont and Mamaroneck on LMC TV.
Sunflower is a 3-year-old kitten who was found by the side of the road. She's as cheerful and friendly as her name. She's also up to date on her shots and ready to find her forever home. For more information on how to adopt Sunflower or other adorable pets, go to www.ny-petrescue.org.
She looks so cute, I might have to look her up. Remember, if you'd like to keep us on the air, support our program by checking out our website at www.lmctv.org and click the donate button in the upper right corner. We really appreciate any contribution.
We are always welcoming new interns and volunteers, so send your emails to locallive@lmctv.org and join us. We love hearing from you. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Alexandria Garcia.
And I'm Ral Kethwari. See you next week for another episode of The Local Live.
The city's fair is sweeping over the land. Over borders, over frontiers, nothing will empower us there. And I say, there is a deeper way than this, rising in the world. There is a deeper way than this. Listen to me, girl. Listen to me, buddy. All the bloodshed, all the anger, all the weapons, all the greed, all the armies, all the missiles, the symbols of my fear. And I say, there is no deeper way